Imagine that everyone in Europe knows about Rabbie's. Isn't it a wonderful dream? Well, there is a way to make it come true. I would like to present the Discover Local digital solution. It will not only increase the global awareness of Rabbie's, but also promote beneficial and sustainable tourism, contributing to the achievement of the UN SDG number 8.9. To begin with, let me introduce you briefly to the main three trends in the travel industry. Sustainable travel is important to 83% of global travelers. 66% of the travelers value local experience. The demand for experiential tourism and off-the-beaten-track locations is rising. Sustainable tourism, off-the-beaten-track destinations, and local experiences are at the core of Rabbie's business model. As we know, it is a minibus tour company operating mainly in the UK, but also in Ireland, Spain, Italy, Portugal, and Switzerland. The company admits that its tours take place in sensitive ecosystems, that's why it runs the risk of damaging them. However, Rabbie's has implemented a number of policies and practices that help them to reduce the negative impact of tourism and increase the values they create for the environment and the society.
As a tour company, it's natural we care about our beautiful landscapes, but we also care about every little detail out there. The crazy roads, shaggy cows, standing stones, lucky light shows in distant hills, and whatever that is, because we don't just visit places, we care about them.
To better evaluate Rabbie's in terms of the UN SDGs, we can use the TRIP framework. Let's start with transparency. Rabbie's is certified by B corporations, so it is evident that the company has clear commitment to the planet and the society. It is not specified on the Rabbie's website which SDGs they are working on, however, I have managed to identify three main SDGs. Let's start with Goal 15, Life on Land. The company avoids contaminating the environment, disturbing animals and birds. Let's watch the founder of the company and some of the employees talking about this.
Rabbie's have always been very conscious of our impact on the environment that we operate in. So we've introduced a number of schemes to help ameliorate and alleviate our impacts.
From path building, planting trees, to working with the community groups to put in park benches. And it's really important to us, and if everybody does something little, it can become big. Our guides, they love their country and they hate when they see litter on the road, so they'd actually asked us if they could have litter picks in the buses. So it's great to see that, and yeah, something that it's within them and the values that they want to do that.
Another SDG that I've identified is Goal 13, Climate Action. One mini coach definitely produces less carbon emissions than 10 or 16 private cars. That is why the whole business model of Rabbie's is quite good for the environment. But the minibuses, of course, still produce carbon emissions. That is why Rabbie's taxes itself £10 per each ton of carbon used and donates this money to local communities or charities. The last one and the most important for us today goal is Goal 8, Decent Work and Economic Growth. Rabbie's takes its tourists further off the beaten-track locations and prioritizes local suppliers and providers over the international and global ones. That is why the company helps the economy of little out-of-reach villages and communities to grow.
The ethos of Rabbie's lies in my own inspiration from the works of E.F. Schumacher, who wrote Small is Beautiful. And when we operate, what we try and attempt to do is put the benefit of our visitors into the communities that they visit.
And I remember when Robin first explained this to me, it all totally made sense, that the small groups, the small impact, and that then leads to giving something back to communities, as well as giving our customers a true local experience.
I think our relationship with our suppliers is quite strong, and that stems from the very beginning. We still take the time to phone our suppliers occasionally so that we still have that one-to-one relationship. And in the off-season, we go out and visit our suppliers as well, so we can sit down, have a cup of tea and a scone, and and just have a nice sort of friendly chat.
Rabbie communicates its progress towards the sustainability goals on its website and LinkedIn. Moreover, B Corporation recognizes it as a transparent company. That is why I've assigned 5 for the second transparency score. Rabbie creates some initiatives to meet the SDG goals. However, they are not digital enough to assign more than 1 for the last transparency criterion. Thus, the total transparency score is equal to 3.7, and there is a clear space for improvement, especially in terms of digital solutions. In terms of responsiveness, Rabbie has a dedicated sustainability team called Green Team. However, it is difficult to say what exactly it is tasked with because of the lack of information in open sources. That is why I've lowered the first responsiveness score to 4. I haven't found any evidence to prove that Rabbie is collaborating with other companies to meet the SDG goals. That is why the next score is 0. Rabbie seems to have a rather clear strategy in terms of sustainability. However, the company doesn't really quantify its targets and it doesn't set any KPIs to measure the progress towards that goals, which makes me put only 4 on this criterion. The overall responsiveness score is 2.7, which highlights a clear need for sustainability-focused collaboration. Speaking about the intelligence part of TRIP framework, there is no evidence of Rabbie using business intelligence or business analytics to evaluate their performance in terms of sustainability. I've tried to read LinkedIn posts of business analysts and interns working at Rabbie, but they didn't really talk about anything sustainability related in their posts, so the score is 0. Rabbie tours reports to B Corporation about its impact on the earth and the society. However, there are no publicly available reports with enough quantitative data. That is why I can assign only 2 to the second intelligence criterion. Rabbie doesn't seem to participate in open discussions about SDG-related topics. However, the founder of the company has participated in some conferences, such as the one about multilingualism. Although multilingualism is not directly related to the UN SDGs, United Nations recognize it as a very important topic that helps to achieve these goals because it's essential for communication between different countries. That is why it kind of related to the topic. But again, this conference was quite a long time ago and there are no many conferences he takes part in. So yeah, the maximum I can assign for this criterion is 1, which gives us an overall intelligence score of 1. Which is quite low, to be honest. The last but not least, personalization. The local economies development initiatives launched by Rabbie clearly help the local communities and citizens in general. That is why the first personalization score should be quite high. I would suggest 4. However, Rabbie doesn't seem to offer citizens enough opportunities for engagement. It's possible to write a review on their trip, but there is nothing specifically SDG related. That is why this score is only 0.5. Rabbie definitely creates value for the society, but they don't publish any quantitative reports about their impact. That is why I cannot put more than 2.5 on the last criterion. To sum up, the total personalization score is 2.3, suggesting that there is a clear space for improvement for this part of the TRIP framework too. 2 good initiatives launched by Rabbie can be self-imposed carbon tax and paid volunteering days. We've already talked about the first one. Rabbie taxes itself £10 per every ton of carbon used and then donates this money to charities and local communities. While paid volunteering days means that every year Rabbie employees help local communities and clean the natural environment. All the information about these 2 initiatives can be found on Rabbie's website or LinkedIn, so they are highly transparent. However, these initiatives do not imply any collaboration with other companies. That is why the responsiveness is quite low. Intelligence seems to be quite low too, as Rabbie doesn't publish any quantitative research or reports about these initiatives. Finally, I would say that the personalization of these two initiatives is medium because on the one hand, they clearly deliver the value to the citizens, but on the other hand, they do not engage with them by asking for more feedback on how they work towards the SDG goals and so on. The suggested digital solution is likely to improve all the 4 dimensions of the TRIP framework, as you can see here. However, the main improvements, of course, will be in the collaboration and digital solutions area, which will drive transparency and responsiveness. Isn't it exciting? Yes? Then let's take a look at the process map, illustrating the rationale behind the solution, the implementation, and the outcomes. We've already talked about the industry trend, that's why let's go directly to the suggested partners. UN Tourism is a specialized agency of the United Nations, which shows clear desire to collaborate with IT and tourism companies to achieve the UN SDG goals. Evaneos is a French IT company which has experience in connecting different stakeholders of the travel process, and also it has clear sustainability values as Rabbie's does. I suggest Rabbie's Tours, UN Tourism and Evaneos to bring their strengths together to build the Discover Local app. Rabbie's will suggest the best practices for 2 companies to interact with local providers. Evaneos will be in charge of the tech part of the project, while UN Tourism will be interacting with European governments and will help us to scale up the project. Discover Local app will be connecting local providers with tour companies, contributing to the achievement of the UN Sustainability Goal number 8.9. Local suppliers and tourism companies will be able to register and find each other on the app to work together. And the 3 partners will guarantee that the data they upload to the app is secure and it's not sold to any third-party companies. The project will help local economies to create employment. Also, it will enhance the authentic local experience of the travelers, enabling tour companies to attract more clients and increase repurchases. Moreover, working on such an important project together with the UN Tourism will definitely help Rabbie's increase brand awareness. You might be wondering what will be the next step if you decide to proceed with this idea. There is actually a sustainability challenge organized by UN Tourism. Why don't we apply for it with this digital solution?